Welcome to week 4 of Environmental Earth Science. This week we will focus on soil resources. By the end of this week's material, you should be able to identify the main soil components and the role that each plays in soil function. Distinguish between chemical and physical weathering and describe the main types of each. Depict the process of soil formation and identify the soil forming factors. Describe soil properties, including physical, chemical, and hydrological characteristics. And discuss anthropogenic impacts on soil resources. There are 4 lecture videos this week. In this one, I'll discuss what soils are, what they are made of, and why soils and their components are important. There's a lot of material in these videos, so make sure that you're reading chapter 10 in the textbook to fill in extra details and solidify your knowledge. So what is a soil? Soils are a mixture of mineral and organic matter on the surface of the earth. Soils are affected by geology, climate, topography, and biology acting over long periods of time. They are dynamic and ever-changing, not just stagnant dirt. Soils are important for a wide range of reasons. To start, did you eat food yet today? Then you use soil resources. In addition to growing our food, we can extract important resources directly from soil, and soil property affects how we build our buildings. You will hear more about soil as a resource in the 4th lecture this week. In that lecture and during class, we will see how soil loss will affect our ability to grow food as the population increases. We will also consider the question of whether soil is a renewable resource. For the past few weeks in class, we've been talking about rock and mineral resources. There's a direct connection from rocks to soils. Soil formation follows the following pathway. A new rock is formed. In this example, through volcanic activity. That new rock is called bedrock. The bedrock is then broken down chemically or physically and creating regolith or sediment. Regolith is weathered material that has not been transported, whereas sediment is material that has been transported. Soil then forms from regolith or sediment plus organic matter. Unlike the other steps in the sequence, soil is capable of supporting life. Remember that there are over 4,000 minerals, each with a unique chemical and atomic structure, but that only a few minerals are common on the Earth's surface. In the 2nd video lecture this week, you will hear about how minerals are broken down by chemical and physical processes to create soils. But soils are not just minerals. Minerals are one of 5 components for functioning soils. Soils also require water, organic material, air, and microorganisms. As shown in the top pie chart, slightly less than half of a soil's volume is made up of mineral material. Organic matter and microorganisms are a small but mighty 5%. The other half of a soil's volume is pore space, the opening between the solids. That pore space is critical for water and air to move through the soil. If we want our soil to grow healthy plants, then we don't want all of those openings or pore spaces to be filled with air. But we don't want them all to be filled with water either. For optimum plant growth, we want about half of the pores filled with water on average, sometimes wetter, sometimes drier. Pie charts maybe aren't the easiest way to visualize what it really looks like when we say that soil is a mixture of mineral material like sand grains, organic material, and pore space. So let's zoom in on a tiny bit of soil. Here we see the mineral grains in white with some organic material, the dark stuff, surrounding the minerals. The pore spaces are the openings in between. In the picture above me, you can see how interconnected pores allow air and water to move through the soil. The movement of water through a soil is critical to whether a soil is well suited for growing plants or whether it is too drought prone or too likely to get waterlogged for many types of plants to grow. We'll talk more about that in this week's 3rd video lecture. If we want a soil to be a soil and not just sediment or regolith, we need organic matter. Organic matter consists of plant and animal residue at varying stages of decomposition. Organic matter is made up mostly of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, along with smaller amounts of other elements that are essential nutrients, like nitrogen and phosphorus. Within a soil, organic matter also helps bind minerals together and retain moisture. At the macro level, the amount of organic matter stored in the soil is the difference between the inputs from photosynthesis and the outputs via decomposition. Photosynthesis in living plants creates the organic material. When the plants die, they become organic matter in the soil. And as they decompose slowly over time, they release gases back to the atmosphere. This cycle and the importance of organic matter for moisture and nutrients is why gardeners often mix compost into their soils to improve their harvest. Globally, the storage of carbon in soils helps regulate carbon cycles. Our final soil component is microorganisms. Even though we can't see them, there are billions of microorganisms in a small handful of soil. These bacteria and fungi exert strong control over nutrient transport in the soils. Microbes associated with plant roots can act as an extension of the root system and enhance nutrient and water uptake. Nearly 90% of plants have some type of microorganism associated with healthy function, and 1/4 of the world's biodiversity is found in soils.